My little one, I'm Oliver, and now I will tell you a story.
One evening, when the sky turned purple-blue and the forest began to fall asleep, Oliver whispered into the silence, "What if I were different? Then maybe people would notice me more." And at that very moment, something splashed quietly in the darkness. In a deep, quiet forest, where trees stood as silent guardians and the wind knew how to whisper fairy tales, lived a little raccoon named Oliver. His little house stood among the old pine trees. The windows always glowed with a warm yellow light. Inside, it smelled of tea, wood, and soft blankets. Oliver was kind. He was attentive and a little shy. He often helped others, picking up lost nuts, showing the way, listening when someone was sad. But when the animals laughed and played together, Oliver usually stood a little apart. Not because they didn't call him, but because he didn't know how to approach them. Sometimes he looked at the others and thought that they all seemed brighter, bolder, more interesting. And he was just a raccoon. Sometimes it hurt a little. Once, Oliver heard a strange sound outside the window, so he left the house and carefully walked along the path. Fireflies winked at him from the bushes, and suddenly, he didn't notice when he stepped into a large puddle near an old barrel. Once upon a time, there had been a forest festival here. Paints, ribbons, and decorations were left behind. But the water in the puddle was not ordinary. It was blue, green, gold, and even a little pink and purple. The colors slowly swirled like a living rainbow. Oliver jumped out of the puddle and froze. His paws were glowing. His fur was shimmering. His tail was shining like a star. He no longer looked like an ordinary raccoon. He looked like a piece of magic. Oliver looked at his reflection in the water. He felt a little scared and a little excited. When Oliver stepped onto the clearing, the conversations stopped. "Wow, look, he's glowing." Even the old owl stopped blinking. Oliver stood in the middle of the clearing, feeling everyone's eyes on him. For the first time in his life. "You must be special," whispered the squirrel. "You must be from the enchanted forest," said the fox. Oliver wanted to tell the truth. He wanted to explain about the puddle and the paint, but something trembled inside him. He felt so good when they looked at him with admiration, so he remained silent. From then on, the animals began to come to him. They asked where to go, where it was warmer, how to be braver. And Oliver tried to answer. He listened, he thought, he helped. But every night, when he was alone, he felt a little uneasy, because he knew, inside, he hadn't changed. He was still the same raccoon. One evening, clouds covered the sky. A quiet, warm rain fell. The drops touched Oliver, and the colors began to fade. The blue disappeared. The gold flowed away. The pink dissolved. And once again, there stood a small, ordinary raccoon. Oliver lowered his eyes. It seemed to him that now he would become invisible again. Then the old owl said quietly, "Oliver, you were important not because of your colors. You were important because you are kind, because you listen, because you care." The squirrel nodded. The rabbit smiled. "We love you just the way you are." Oliver felt his heart fill with warmth. That night, Oliver returned home. The moon shone softly. The forest breathed calmly. And Oliver understood. You don't have to be brighter. You don't have to be different. It's enough to be yourself. And the forest fell asleep with him.